Firstly, what do I mean by hack? I think the way it's most commonly used, it's understood as a shortcut, as a quick way to get somewhere, to jump ahead of the process in some way. Because I believe learning to draw is a skill, I don't think the process can be avoided, but there are certainly ways to move faster at different stages. And what I'm going to share with you now is a way I think I've greatly accelerated the outcome of my drawings, a way I've managed to get the drawings I was wanting to get, I was hoping to get at the end of the drawing session, far more quickly, far more effectively. It's not that this hack is a way of avoiding anything that we need to do. It's a way to actually do it far more quickly and far more effectively because it's such a targeted thing and we get an instant ability to work out whether it's been helpful or not. Let me show you a range of examples from my drawing processes. And I do this every single drawing. It doesn't matter whether it's a 10-minute quick sketch or whether it's a 2-hour, very considered, detailed drawing. I wouldn't dream of starting a drawing without doing this first. And last point of the preamble, this genuinely only takes me 30 seconds to 1 or 2 or 3 minutes per drawing. But of course, we do get better at whatever we do over and over again. And because I do this with every drawing, so that's about 850 times in the last 3.5 years, I've become quite fast at doing this. It may take you a little bit longer at the start, but you need to do it at the speed that lets you do it well. And by well, I mean you can see that it actually sets you up for a better drawing and results in a better drawing. I have my photo reference and I work out exactly what I'm particularly trying to bring out from this scene in my drawing. Or sometimes I look for something that I think might particularly give me some bother. This then sets me up for the hack, for the fast track exercise that I do. I get a scrap of paper and I explore whatever it is I'm thinking about. Now for this scene, I remember it was the shadows under the pier and just the way these piers looked and the shade and the shadow that was on them, but also this view of North Sydney, of the other side of the harbour. Getting the sense of this was much further away, having a lighter effect here than for this. And so I explored that. Here is my finished drawing. I also experimented with this figure. I tried several of them to both capture scale, but also how I could convey what was happening here with a minimum number of lines. You'll notice that for North Sydney, I employed a greater range of variety in the weight of my marks from the closest ones to the furthest skyscrapers, although all of them, I think, are significantly lighter than the closer wharf. This is what I do. I spend 30 to 120, 180 seconds playing around with the pens I think I'll use to explore whatever I think I need to explore to then start my drawing more confidently. Let me show you how it looks with a great range of other types of subjects. My second example is this old, I think it was a water supply structure. The real challenge was going to be these really weathered edges because that was so much a part of the feel, and I thought the visual charm. In my 60 seconds, 90 seconds, I explored the edges. I didn't want to just do straight lines. I wanted to explore how I could draw these structures directly in ink, what sort of marks I could make that would create the effect I wanted. Because I was happy with this, I adopted what I'd learned here, and I think in a more satisfactory way than in my exploration. So sometimes it's not that this looks as good as I would like, but it sets me up now to be far more targeted and focused to achieve what I want because of my experimenting. This was my reference photo for a video on drawing the effect of detail, not the exactness, and the detail was these cobblestones on the streets of Paris. I thought I'd also just have a practice with these figures, and this is my mark making
While I wasn't particularly happy with the figures and the sense of scale, I was happy with how this was looking. You can see that in my finished drawing, this was refined more and obviously done with more control. But I knew from this that this was going to work. And my figures are a little more successful being my second take than how they would have been if I hadn't had a chance to explore what I was thinking. There were lots of things with this bushland scene that I would have liked to have explored, but I didn't want to start trying to draw the whole thing. So I thought I would just focus on these steps because they were a real key point, I think, to the visual invitation into the drawing. And so I particularly worked on these closer steps. You can see that my mark making here, I was thinking of the edges, I was thinking of hatching, I was thinking of where things join, getting realistic looking joining lines, as well as a little bit of the natural texture surrounding the steps, which were going to be in contrast. In the finished drawing, I certainly benefited from the practice. This Victorian villa, when I experimented, I thought, look, I'm just going to work on this fence post with this decorative element on top. And this here, we can see where I've done that. And I was happy thinking, yes, that's going to work. I also had to go at the top of this window just to warm up a little more with the architecture, and the other things are from other drawings. With the actual drawing, I was much more confident now in starting, and that confidence is very important. And we're going to measure the rest of the drawing off it, so proportions are really important. We'll move through these much more quickly now, but if any particular subjects interest you, then I recommend you just pause and have a good look at the experimenting marks in relation to the subject and then in relation to the finished drawing. With this brass bowl, I was interested in exploring the shape, but particularly this relief. And so that was my focus in the marks I made. I was happy with this, which let me then go on to complete the drawing, and particularly with this relief, I was confident that this was going to work well to capture that. These ibis in Sydney, known as bin chickens, I thought the challenge was going to be to get the shape, the curves, the proportions, the sense of lightness, and also this backlit shade that they have on them. They're all pretty much the same. So I just experimented with one in particular, and then from that, I did the drawing. Confident that this was going to work well from this, and with a little more experience with the beaks. I had drawn these Paris buildings before, a couple of years earlier in pencil, but this was for a video particularly looking at reflections we see through the windows. And so that was the part I wanted to explore with my marks and see if it created the effect I was after. So then I could confidently go into the entire drawing, knowing that I wasn't going to ruin all the work of the outline of the building itself. Here's a couple of very different tree trunk drawings. In this one, I was really wanted to capture the twisting, curving undulation of these branches coming towards us, moving away from us, and also the feel of the bark, the visual impact of the bark. So these marks let me explore that, and also the hatching, edges, hatching, the sense of movement towards and away from, and twisting and turning. Happy with that. And so I could confidently do the drawing with this benefit. But a very different type of tree trunk, old, weathered. So I was looking for different marks in a finer pen for more detail, a different silhouette edge. Sometimes I don't have to do much to realize that these marks will work on a much larger scale with more effort, more carefully done. The sense of 3 dimensions, the edges, creating the values that I wanted, and combining the hatching with the actual marks for the bark. This video was about applying the technique of drawing the effect of detail rather than the actual detail with architecture. And so my mark making was just doing enough of a significant major portion of the architecture to get a feel for what details I would draw and how I would draw them and what I would leave implied. This also gave me a chance to work on the perspective. And then in the finished drawing, I could be a lot more confident that these were going to work. And that then just set me up with all the rest of the marks. This subject, which was a Sydney ferry, was something I'd never really drawn before. So my mark making was more about perceiving the proportions and the shapes, as well as more obvious things such as this tricky foreshortening and a little bit with the values. And so I actually drew far more of the subject still in just a few minutes than I would normally, because all of this was so unfamiliar. And this, I think, set me up then when I did a more considered drawing to capture those proportions and form and details more effectively. This is the post office in Saint-Germain-en-Laye on the outskirts of Paris. And I was happy enough with the architecture, but I really wanted to focus on these street lights. They have a fairly delicate form, unusual lights in this hanging arrangement with a certain perspective. So I focused on that, as well as just a little bit of a start on the architecture. And that meant that I was able to incorporate these elements more successfully with a better sense of proportion and perspective when I drew the rest of the scene. With these old boots, I was really wanting to find marks that conveyed the sense of old and weathered leather, but also stretched and rounded leather, both from the bulges of use, but also from the underlying form. And again, unfamiliar subject, and so a little more work, couple of minutes, but particularly focusing on getting these bulges and a more casual sense of line work that I thought would better suit such a casual subject. And this was the finished drawing. It was still a very fast drawing. In some ways, though, I like the feel of this more than the more finished drawing. That's always a possibility. But if that's the case, it gives us some direction with trying to develop a looseness that goes beyond what we're doing already when that's what we want. Another unusual subject for me, this fairly ornate cane chair. And the main thing with my mark making time was really to get a sense of the proportions and of the way the different parts fit together and the relationship between the various parts of the decorative elements. And so this was how that looked, which again was considerably useful in helping me get things right with my actual drawing. This video was about finding marks to capture various types of foliage to create clarity in a black and white drawing that has the disadvantage of not having the color to help us see what's what. And so again, a little more detail with my mark making because I wanted to explore more elements than normal to make sure I could create some sort of distinction, both from my hatching, from my silhouette edges, and also from the weight of my line. So from this then, I did the final drawing, confident that I could create enough distinction, enough separateness, so that we could make sense of what is a fairly busy scene of marks. With this Italian church in Venice, it really was just a bit of warming up. I was fairly confident with drawing this. So it was just particularly, though, getting a sense of these curves because, well, they're always a tricky part for me with freehand ink drawing. And so this was as much a warm-up and just seeing what it felt like to draw the lines that I was wanting to draw. This Australian galah, a small parrot, is a favourite bird of mine, and therefore I particularly wanted to capture the visual characteristics. So it was really a sense of exploring marks to get the proportions all balanced in relation to each other to create the form that we see here. And this was a definite help in developing the form in the finished drawing. With this tree, the drawing video I was making it for wasn't about the branches or the trunks, it was about the foliage. And so I particularly wanted to find marks that captured the characteristics of the particular foliage of this particular type of tree. And it was going to be mostly about the edges and the dark values. And so that's what I concentrated on. And that's what set me up for the final drawing. You'll notice how on so many of these scraps, I've got other things. I've got trying out thumbnail text and so forth. These really are scraps of paper. These are all the ones I could just happen to find. This, I think, is particularly interesting because it's another example, an unusual example of drawing the effect of detail, not the actual detail. And this is an unusual view of the ironwork of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So this very complex geometry with foreshortening as well as curvature, as well as more normal perspective. I knew I couldn't get bogged down trying to draw it exactly. So I really had to work at marks that would capture the feel, the visual feel of what we're seeing. And I was happy enough with those as a rough one that I could refine it slightly and focus on things that would create the sense of this. With this pine cone, it was working out whether I understood the structure of it enough, the engineering, to be able to draw something that looked credible. So this took a little more time than some of them, but it set me up to do what I still think is quite a nice little drawing, because this forced me to do all the observation I needed to do before I began my drawing. The Sydney Opera House is not a particularly easy subject. You'll notice that I just made a bit clearer how the shells were outlined, and then I worked at really drawing these shapes attached to each other in the same way. And the main thing I got from this was that I'd made this large shell not quite full and not quite rounded enough. So then when I drew the actual drawing, which was still just a 10-minute quick sketch, I was more prepared for the shapes I'd have to draw. And the final one is one of the more complex drawings I've done, and there were quite a few elements I wasn't confident about. So I explored just the hatching for this cone-shaped tree. I explored the fountain and creating the effect of the water. I had a look at how I might do these leaves that were very close, to have a style that created the value but without being overpowering visually. I played around with these buildings with the backlit shade on their facades. And I spent a fair bit of time looking at the different figures. It wasn't just the different poses, but the fact that some were much further away than others meant that my approach for each group was going to be different. What was the minimum number of lines I could use to create the effect of figures for these furthest ones? And I think the benefit of this can be seen in my final drawing. Whether it's a 10-minute drawing or an hour-and-a-half drawing, playing around with marks to experiment whether they're going to create the effects I'm wanting is an indispensable part of my drawing process. I'd really suggest you give it a go yourselves.
G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Hope you think this is something you can give a try to. It absolutely has revolutionized my drawing. Not just because of my ability to put more accurate, more effective marks on the paper when I start to draw, but simply the confidence that it gives me when I start to draw. I feel so much more in control and aware of what I'm about to do. And this confidence takes away that hesitancy that so often can affect the marks that we first put on the paper. It's like when I start to draw, I'm already halfway through the drawing in my head and in my hand. And that releases a far more helpful drawing rhythm, tempo in what I do. But hey, in the end, whatever you draw, whatever hacks you do or don't try, this one or any others, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.